Well, first of all, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Actually, fucking high
Fucking
five.
let's go, dog.
Where are you at right now with having kids?
Oh, yeah, right. Just about, yeah. Well, I was chatting with somebody, many people, including my therapist, about just how common it is, I think, for dudes to just feel like, what the fuck am I here for? You know, when the kids are young.
You mean like second to a mom kind of? Yeah. Okay.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Zoe is like a fucking Swiss Army knife, dude. She's just, yeah, and the Energizer Bunny combined just doesn't stop. Like rarely, if ever, complains. And not only that, like I think the most striking thing, and this may come across like in a bad way, but is that she feel like she's infatuated, like infatuated with our kids and being with our kids, and in contrast, like I'm not. I truthfully, like I would die for my kids,
of course.
and I absolutely cherish the time that I have with them, especially for some reason when I get to be a solo parent, which is interesting. But it's still, it seems to be something that is, you know, if it gives and takes, it's like a net. It's still a net positive for sure, but it's it doesn't seem to be. And I think a lot of that, my feelings about it, have to do with perhaps the fact that I feel like whatever my skill set is as a parent just isn't as applicable at this
right
age.
Now.
And I don't know. You know, as soon as I say that, I feel like, is this just what dads tell themselves to like make an excuse for not being, you know, more engaged or whatever with their kids at this age? But you just get a sense like for what you're capable of, and what other, you know, especially in comparison to others, and it does feel that there is just a natural difference in ability, and not even ability, but just like, I don't know, capacity or general like interest between myself and Zoe. And I don't know if you guys feel that at all.
Well, no, I feel like what I know about you, I know that I relate more to your parenting style. I don't think Ryan is on the same level as Zoe is. I feel like she's like exceptional mom mode.
Big time.
But I for sure felt like, especially the baby stage, that was really hard for me because I just felt like a bad mom, because I was like, I almost like nothing about this. You know, it was just the like hardest thing. I felt like I, you know, was giving up so much of myself and not getting sleep, and the house was always dirty, and I wasn't really able to like enjoy it, you know. And even now, I've been dealing with this thing because the girls are out of school, but their school has a summer program, and so you had the option to just continue to have them the same time and all week. And then come to find out that we're the only family that they're staying all day, because there's like a half day option. So even the normally full day kids are just doing half days, and I was like, oh, why? You know? And then I'm just getting mom guilt, like, oh, like everybody, you know, wants their kids to have a break.
They're still paying for like a full day.
No, they're not. But I'm just wondering like what their work life situation is like.
Right.
How do I word this? It's just making me feel like a bad mom that I still want, you know, those 5 hours to myself every day instead of, you know, just a few hours. And then, but here's the rub with that is that, to like justify it, is that if we did half day, we would just come home and then Dolly would take a nap and then we're nap trapped. So it's like, it's not like I can take them somewhere right now, but I could still have one-on-one time with Birdie. But so anyway, I'm just comparing myself to these other moms, like, oh, these moms really want to like hang out with their kids and I don't as much. Is that true? Like, I love my kids. But I also think that they get great value out of this program. Like, there's, even though it's not learning like school like it normally is, and granted, they're 5 and 3. It's still all, you know, it's not like they're need a break from calculus here, you know. But I think that they get a lot out of it, even when it's just them in the afternoon, because I'm not great at doing like, you know, projects or crafts or whatever, you know. I don't know, you understand what I'm saying, or am I just a bad mom?
I understand. No, this is what I'm talking about, dude. It's like every time we go to the playground, I'm like sizing up all the other fucking parents. Like, you know, you got some who are just on their phone.
Yeah.
And, you know, I look at those parents, I'm like, yeah, I get it, dude. No judgment whatsoever. You know, and then there's the parents who are like fucking crawling around on their hands and knees and like you know, pretending to be like a fucking wolf or something. And I'm like, I'll do that at the house. But in public, I'm just kidding.
No, I wouldn't. I probably,
I don't know. It just, there's a part of me that feels like, that wonders, like, are you like really in the moment? Is this like, are you lost with your kid right now at the playground? Because if so, that's awesome. That's really cool. Or is this like some kind of weird flex? Like, look at what a good fucking parent I am. Because I'm maybe that says more about, I don't know, my own insecurities. I just
or like projecting. Are you telling yourself that because you feel like maybe you're not doing enough, so you're like, no, that guy's pretending or something?
It's fucking weird, dude. And then I get caught up in like, what is the goal here? Is our goal to like keep our kids as happy as possible as often as possible? Because that doesn't seem to be a very good goal,
right?
That doesn't seem to be like, that seems like that's gonna be, I don't fucking know. I don't know.
That's like, how I think about like kids and boredom, because, you know, we grew up in like the 90s where it was still kind of the Wild West out there, you know. I mean, kids were starting to get kidnapped, but like, you know, we would still go play, and like you're back home, you know, at nighttime basically. Like, your parents never knew where you were or what you were doing. There's no social media, but also you had the opportunity to be bored, and I feel like that's what our kids are, I'm generalizing, but are missing. Because even yesterday it was school, and then immediately to swim class, and then to soccer, and it's like, and you know, Birdie's got gymnastics, and we're not even doing like a quarter of what some families are doing. You know, they're just like packing their schedule, and I kind of weirdly enjoy it when Dolly naps, Birdie has quiet time, and it's usually this usually is just on Saturdays when I'm solo parenting, and quiet time means I'm taking a nap. And Birdie will paint or whatever, but she'll come up sometimes and say she's bored, and I'm like, good, you know, go sit with that, maybe go back downstairs, look at your toys and see what you can create, you know. And she always does. So I think, I know it's not exactly what you were saying, but I feel like, you know, it's okay to, I don't know. And also, I know you as a person. I know you're a great dad. Like, I feel like our generation is already doing so much better. But I think, and maybe I'm projecting or just trying to make myself feel better, but I've just decided, you know, at least right now, the type of parent I am is not super hands-on. Like, I'm with my kids. Like, I'm going to events, we're doing things, but I'm not usually crawling around on the floor, you know, playing piggyback or whatever. Like, Ryan is great at that. I'm here for, like, you want to have conversations, you want to like,
yeah,
giggle and watch a movie together. Like maybe it's not super well rounded, but as a family, I have no doubt that they're getting the love and support that they need. And they kind of just know, like, you know, mom's great for, when they get a little bit older, I'm going to be amazing for taking them out to lunch or to go get manicures or whatever. I love that connection time, that bonding. And Ryan does too, but he's definitely going to be like, let's go to the bike park or let's work on this car, more active stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. That's another, that brings up another weird thought that is about like, when you're, I find myself like trying to be more like Zoe, and that there is, I don't know, like this feeling that I should be more, as you said, like more well-rounded,
right?
Because there's something kind of uncomfortable about the idea that actually, that I would be something, to our kids that is completely separate from whatever it is Zoe is to them, and that I will never fill that role for them. What is it like?
Do you feel like, because I knew even when they were like babies, I was like, I'm still all in and I'm here and I'm trying my best, but I know that this isn't my moment to shine. My moment to shine will come, like kind of now and later when I can have like conversations and stuff, and connect in that way. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like I'm hoping, or I think that, X age range will be the time for you to shine?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. I think like it's, Winnie is 4. Like 4 years is it's gone by fast, but it's also a long fucking time to like not really be able to communicate.
Yeah.
At least with language,
right.
With anybody, but certainly with someone who you really desperately want to, have some kind of influence over, or not over, but
like you just kind of assume that you would, this person like kind of came from you, like I wonder how, I'd be curious what Zoe says about this, because like when Birdie was born, I just kind of had this expectation that I would know her already. She grew inside of me. Like I feel totally bonded with her. And then she comes out and you're like, actually, you're like a total stranger. And she kind of felt that way. Not a total stranger, but like what you're saying. I didn't really feel like I started to get to know Birdie until she was, probably like 3-4 years old. And I still feel that way with Dolly. Like we'll be doing bedtime and I'll just be kind of looking at Dolly, and I just still, I'm like, it's more of a curiosity now. Like, what are you going to be like? Who are you? Like, you're starting to see glimpses, but there's still. So are we putting kind of an unnecessary expectation on ourselves to have this like, bond with someone before we really,
which then I think, influences our ability to do that. It's like completely perverse. The more I find myself thinking about that, and like at times like forcing myself to like find a way to see them in a certain way, the more it just feels altogether strange. Like it's weird to me that like you can have a connection with an adult stranger that in some ways is like more profound
right.
than a connection that you have your infant child, or even, and it feels like kind of taboo to say.
Yeah, right.
Was Ryan like that, or did Ryan kind of feel?
Ryan was definitely, he did a lot better with the infant stage. I mean, I didn't realize it at the time, but certainly in hindsight with Birdie, I for sure had postpartum. Like I was in it, and then COVID happened, and then like, what was life even, you know? So, and just as people, Ryan is way more kind of chill and not like a fatalist like I am. So it was just a scary time, you know? I was just like, who am I? How do I be a mother? Like, what is my life? And also, we have this global pandemic. Like, what's going to happen to us? So that's kind of not a great like normal case study.
Like, should we be buying a lot of like canned food and like,
right, gallons and gallons of water and stuff? Yeah, but in general, I think like took to it more. I think he enjoyed the baby stage, just kind of, he just has more of a personality for that, where I think if it weren't for sleep deprivation, child rearing would be like cake, right? Like the sleep for me was just, there was just no, I just like sleep too much there, and there was none of it happening forever, it felt like. So once I kind of started getting some sleep, and it's like a year, right? I mean, it depends on the baby, I guess. But
that's why I don't know how moms do it.
Yeah. It was, I remember kind of feeling, not at a year, actually at like 6 months, I remember feeling like, okay, I'm not actively being drowned right now. Like I'm still, you know, someone's up there kind of pushing my head down every now and then, but I'm not like literally dying anymore. And then it just like slowly gets better. And then you are out of the water and you're able to like touch the bottom of the ocean and tread water.
Oh my god, dude!
Stressing you out?
No, it's nice it's nice to talk about, because the only person you ever find yourself talking about it with is your partner, and
right.
And it's very easy then to just compare yourself and feel well, at least for me.
Yeah, sure. Like a bad person.
Yeah.
Like a shitty person, or we just have different strengths, I think, you know.
Yeah, and that's like what Zoe is like constantly reassuring me of, except I'm like, I don't see that. Like, what are the strengths that matter at this age beyond feeding them, like, bathing them, changing their diaper, getting them to where they need to go. Like,
all of those things are so important.
They are, but
like being there, like when you're with them, do you feel like you're present with them? Or
that's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not as much as Zoe, for sure. I don't know. It's because I think I don't know why. It's easier, like at times, for sure. Like it's not that I never feel like I'm able to be present with them, but
I'm just trying to figure out if you're being too hard on yourself. Like when I don't know what your guys' morning routine is, but when you first see your kids in the morning, or they come up the stairs or whatever, what's your general affect around them? Is it like normal, like Grant greeting, or?
Yeah, I think I just, mornings are tough because I just like, oh my God, everything's so fucking loud.
Yeah.
It takes me a minute to come online.
Yeah.
And
are they getting it before you, or?
Hobbs, Zoe and Hobbs get up, and then Winnie sleeps in, and I'll get up before Winnie usually, and Winnie's great because she's now at the age where she's not popping off.
Right. Yeah.
As soon as she wakes up, she like takes a minute to come around too. So she and I sometimes will even just go hang out and rest in bed again. And and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Hobbs is not like, he's not so much bouncing off the walls, but he's still
he's 2, almost 2.
He'll be 2 in September. And
okay.
So he's, he gets cranky, and and it's that like high pitched whine that and when he's, I mean, he's obviously like cute as a button when he's well tempered, but I think I don't know, I'm like you, I like missing them at the end, you know, by the end of the day, and then it's such a strange thing. It's like, and it's not just with kids, it's with anything. Now that I think about it, it's like, oh, this thing that you think you want, you know, when you can't have it, and then you have it, and you're like, oh,
right, yeah.
That sounds so awful.
Yeah, no, I think, well, because we're in the Myers-Briggs, you're ENFJ, I'm INFJ. Wait, but that's not really, I think, I actually don't even know what that stands for anymore. But where I was going with that is I feel like we both need, like, we need alone time, right, to recharge, kind of. Yeah, and so, like, I going back to the school conundrum I have is I feel like I would be doing my kids a disservice almost by having them just do half days, because I feel like my battery would be so drained.
Right.
But where like now I don't pick them up until 3, like I'm excited to go hang out with them. I'm ready. I'm ready. And then we have a solid 5 hours until bedtime. And I don't know, again, am I just like trying to justify that? But I'm trying to think this out, because I'm like, okay, am I going to pull them like next month, or like what would that look like? Would it even be worth it for them? You know?
Yeah. Well, and you know, you might have mentioned this, but I think sometimes, you know, maybe what we provide for them is in what we aren't able to provide. You know,
right? Exactly.
And that is, you know, something we're all certain of as we get older, is that life is not just, it's anything but static. You know, you're constantly having to adapt, and your environment, your circumstances are always changing, and so that it then, I think, makes a lot of sense that it would be beneficial to a child to have you know, parents who were different in that capacity. So, you know, so that it wasn't like, I mean, I don't know.
Like, I guess I don't know you in like your family life, but I can guess that I'm sure you're an excellent dad. And also, I think you probably have really high standards for yourself. And as someone who grew up in a house that was lacking so much, you know, love and support and sanctuary and everything, I think you are already doing more than you're giving yourself credit for. Like the fact that you are providing, I'm assuming, maybe you guys are psychopaths at home, but I'm guessing that you have a safe, happy home, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you're talking about, like, you know, the bare minimum that you could do. You could actually do a lot worse.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No, sure, sure. Thank you. I just think it's hard not to obsess sometimes about it, because you realize how delicate the human psyche is, you know, especially as someone with a bag of problems, you know, of my own. It's like, how the fuck did you're not really, you're not able to see that as a kid. You know, you just cope, you just find your way somehow, and yeah, and then you realize, like, well, what the fuck, I had a great childhood, but like, what then, how have I spent hours and hours in therapy talking about all this shit, like that I seem to have such a hard time processing, you know, and I think we talk about what are the greatest influences um, uh, um, in, you know, who we end up as adults, um, and it's like parenting is always like right there. You know, obviously your peers and your environment, but I think what happens in your house has to be like the greatest, if not one of the greatest predictors as to like who you become as an adult.
Yeah, that is curious because, so you're saying you had a pretty good childhood?
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But then also, you know, what is a, like, I think that's the whole point, is like what is a good childhood, and, and what does it mean to have a good childhood? Is it a childhood in which you're just happy all the time, or that you're as happy as you can be as often as you can be, or is it a childhood in which, you know, it doesn't really matter as much how happy you are, as long as you feel that you are supported and loved? You know, is a good childhood a condition of like the things that you have access to, or is it more of how you're taught to look at the things that you have access to? And yeah, it's just like, it's just very easy to it's just not always, I think what's confusing is that my intuition about what is right, or what is good behavior as a parent, is not always, I think, accurate. And and I think the bottom line, probably for both of us, is that our kids are very lucky to have us as parents. So we're not talking about like, you know, the mistakes that we make are not the kind of mistakes that are going to produce a kid that is like severely fucked up.
Right.
So that's great, but it still is like, it's a, you know, we take it as a very serious job, and so it's hard not to think about all the nuance, you know, and I don't know, especially, I don't know if you consider yourself like a sensitive, hypersensitive person.
Yeah, I've never been tested, but I would venture to guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like anything. It's like a delicate piece of furniture or something. Like you can't, like, some pieces of furniture you can really bang around. Like you don't really. It's whatever. Like it's. And other pieces of furniture, it's like, dude, you got to be really delicate with that. And that's how people are. And so
that's how my kids are. I mean, I don't know if you are kind of gleaning that yet with Hobbs, like the difference between him and Winnie.
He's starting
yeah,
to.
I think right. It's was when Dolly turned 2 is when she like became a totally different person. But they're so classic. Like Birdie is your classic sensitive, people pleasing, like wants to do well and make everybody happy older sibling. And then Dolly's the like couldn't give two fucks what you think, is gonna do what she wants, like not sensitive, real. I mean, like she's sweet, but she's not, you know, like if you even course correct Birdie like a little bit, she'll be crying.
Yeah.
Dolly, you could like spit in her face and she would just be like, whatever, bro.
Sure,
you know?
Sure.
And so I think that's so true, that like you have to know who you're dealing with, kind of, and like how they're gonna react. Not that you should go really hard on a less sensitive kid, but just to be mostly more aware, maybe with a sensitive kid.
Yeah. you know, we're relatively, you got a couple more years.
Oh, yeah, but we're still kind of noobs.
Still noobs,
right? I think. Yeah, we don't know what's coming.
yeah.
But I do. There are some people, and again, I might be eating my words later, but say that it doesn't get easier, and I think that that's not true.
I think it's bullshit.
I think that's total bullshit. Yeah. It like me 2 years ago was like a shell of a person. Like the kids are potty trained now. They can get dressed.
Oh my god.
The like tantrums are
Dude,
when you get there.
I keep saying, I'm telling people, they think I'm joking, and I get it because I talk about pooping and farting a lot when I try to be funny. But like the fact that Winnie can wipe her own ass is fucking epic.
It's like celebrate. And you still have what, at least
celebrate
a year probably.
I'm gonna wait until Hobbs, like when Hobbs has wiped his first own ass, I'm throwing a fucking keg.
No, well that you won't be there yet though, probably, because they trick you. You think that they've got it, and then you still have a little bit of ways to go. But
that's okay.
That's still exciting.
That's okay. As long as I think that. Okay, yeah, because.
Don't, like, you can definitely be stoked that it's happening, but don't.
So hold off to throw the kegger.
Maybe wait until like you're for sure. But yeah, like we had a bunch of pull-ups left over, and it's scary because we followed like a book to do potty training with Dolly, and like you literally like throw away like pull-ups and diapers, and that's hard because you're like, but what if we're gonna need it again? Yeah. And so, but then you're like in it, and then we didn't throw them away, we donated them, but then it's like you never have to go. So I think those people, maybe they're in the thick of it with whatever phase their kids are in, but I just have I don't know, again, please don't, I'm going to jinx myself, but I just don't know that there's anything more physically and emotionally taxing as those first years, maybe. Like teen years and all that, like I'm not looking forward to like.
All the teen parents are like,
right, yeah, they're the ones that are saying that, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm scared, believe me, I'm scared. Like Brady goes to, big school next year, and like I just still feel like she's light years away from bullying or like social media and stuff, but I don't think it's that far off actually, and like having to make those really big decisions about.
I just still feel like, and this is totally naive for sure, probably because there's just no way to know, but I just feel like, dude, put me in, coach. Like,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's where you'll shine. I feel like that's where I'll shine. Like we're gonna be able to handle that, war zone. I don't know. That's where the annoying older people come in, and they tell you you're gonna miss it when it's gone. And I hate when people say that because they have obviously long forgotten how hard it is.
They blacked it out.
But also, Grant, when Birdie turned 5. I was unwell because it's like all of that.
That's when that shit.
And I was like, fuck, those idiots were right.
Which was a year ago, a year and a half.
Yeah. She's almost 6. So yeah, this whole year I've just been a mess because she just suddenly stopped looking like a baby, or a toddler. Like she's like a kid now. And also it started to get easier, and so then that's when the reflecting, you're not surviving anymore, you're actually able to like function, and then that's when you realize how fast it went. But what I try to tell people that are going to have kids, like in a really nice, not scary way, is like give yourself permission to wish for time to go faster in those really hard times. You will miss it, parts of it, right? But also it is hard in the moment. Like it's hard.
Well, and also, dude, like I think there's something just fundamentally fucking stupid about that advice, which is that it's it makes me think of like people who are like, because I eat really fast, and they're like, dude, slow down, enjoy it. I'm like, fucking, I am enjoying it. Like I couldn't be enjoying it more, dude. And I don't know, like for some reason, if I ate it slower, like I would have it, I will the time that I would be eating it would be, I'd maybe have 10 more minutes. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not important to me. Dude, I fucking enjoyed the shit out of it. And I don't know, it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just.
Well, to be fair, you can, I love imagining you eating really fast now, but you could still be present eating really quickly. It's more about like, if you are enjoying it, then that's the point. But if your mind is somewhere else and it's like you don't even realize you're eating, then yeah, I think that's.
I think I get what they're, what they're getting at.
Yeah.
Just.
I do think that you can kind of miss a lot though if you're not careful. Like, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, yeah, I if I had the opportunity to go back, I wouldn't do anything differently because. Not really, because that was how it was meant to go. And like, I'm not in the business of trying to change the past, right? And it's okay to miss things, like, and long for good memories, Have you guys thought about like technology? Like, where are you at with your kids having cell phones? Have you guys thought about that yet?
Dude, yeah, I mean, that's one area I'm probably a little obnoxious about, because I just see the difference in the look on Winnie's face between her like watching something on the television versus holding a device.
Yeah, right. I know.
And it's stark, and I'm just like, dude, that is like not appropriate, man.
Right.
I don't want her to hold the phone, dude. Like Zoe, even we have this old phone that doesn't even work, and she was like, should we give this to her as like a little
like play with? I know, but it's like too real. Yeah.
I just why dude? Like fucking, because what you see, as you were saying earlier, is like, if you just, your kids, if we didn't have a fucking TV at all, and if we didn't have phones, they would find a way to be happy, to entertain themselves, like, and the temptation is in, obviously, well, at least at this age, like just getting a fucking break.
Totally. Yeah.
But I think that, like, I think back to when we were kids. I'm like, dude, I didn't want to be with my parents when I was like, I mean, I guess a little bit older than they are, but like 5, 6. I'm like, dude, yeah, I go outside and play. Of course, dude. Why the fuck would I stay in here with you? You're like vacuuming and shit.
Living my best life. Yeah, you can play outside while I can vacuum in peace. I don't know. I think it just scares me, like you're saying, the look that they get, because we pretty much, our kids have never had like an iPad. We do watch TV. Like when Dolly does her therapy for her cystic fibrosis, we're watching TV because that's just kind of how you get her to do it. She has to sit there for 30 minutes twice a day. So, we do that. But I feel like that is so different than like posting up with an iPad or a phone. I feel like there's something weird. It like takes you out of the world, and it puts you in like right here, and you're just not. And I have a rule for myself too, that if I'm like in public, like waiting for my therapist, or like I don't let myself look at my phone. And it's hard. It's hard because everybody else, I mean, that actually gives me comfort, because I'm like, well, nobody's watching me sit here awkwardly. But it's like, you don't know where to look. You're like, but isn't that so sad? Thank you so much.
All right, dogs. Catch you later,
dude. Smash that like.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God.